It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.
I'm trying to get Lainey to stream while she's at work. Come join us. Twitch.tv/robotsradio. Let's see if there's a Nightkin GIF. Let's see. Nightkin. Probably not, but maybe. Winter is here. Nope, that's not Nightkin.
Whoa! A new subscriber!
What?
You're awesome!
Bub with the subscribing. What's up, Geeks Tavern? No, I have not seen your big iron anywhere. Yeah, because we missed yesterday because I had a migraine. So we're doing it today. And nobody has a Nightkin GIF on Giphy.
Picture of Lily, the girl.
Yeah.
Nightkin.
Lily Super Mutant. Let's see if that shows up at all. No. Ninja Turtles for some reason. Probably because of mutant. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's not going to be a thing. So we're just going to ignore that. We're just tweeting it out. You know. Yeah. I am doing better. Thank you. After sleeping last night, my brain decided to fix itself. So.
Yay.
See, everyone says you look nice, Lainey.
Oh, thanks. I still don't have the chat pulled up, but thank you.
Lainey says, they say you look nice. Twitter hates somebody. Oh, here we go. I didn't have my
Twitter
overlay
always
up.
hates somebody.
It's Twitter hates super mutants? What? Super mutants are great. Everybody should love super mutants.
Super mutants canceled.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, Twitter? Well, Twitter can go, do a thing with a you-know-what. That was extremely non-specific. You-know-what.
Do a thing with a you-know-what.
Yeah.
That's what Twitter.
That's what Twitter. That's why I think about Twitter. Do a thing with a you-know-what, you-know-where. Twitter. That was a good laugh. Trying to get
my
into
laughs
this.
Sound nervous.
Don't punch me.
I'm constantly laughing inward. I'm reeling it back.
Judgment. Finally got your name. You want it? Yeah, I heard Lincoln. That's awesome.
Woo!
That's sweet, yo. That's crazy cool. All right. Well, I'm trying to get in this Newegg Shuffle for a graphics card, but it's impossible. Actually, you know what? I got selected for the one yesterday for a 3070 Ti, which is one of the new ones, but it was the MSRP for those starts at 700, and this one was almost $1,000 because it was oh
jeez.
Yeah, and I was if I'm gonna spend $1,000 and I want to get a 3080, why would I get a 3070 Ti? Holy crap, that's just too much money, friends. I just selected all the things to see if I'd get in for any of them, and it actually selected me, and I was that's not the one I wanted. But it's kind of good to know that it actually works sometimes. You were on top of a dude, Lincoln? Laney's face. Gotta go back to work. All right, dude. I'll see you later. Sorry, I'm taking his text as messages out of context. Finally got off this dude from it. Got his name off the dude. Not he physically got off the dude. He was stuck on top of him.
Understood.
That's weird. That's weird.
Maybe I should pull the Twitch chat up then.
Yeah, you should pull the
Usually I have it up.
You should do it.
I don't know why. It just didn't pull it up yet.
What are you doing with your life?
Who knows?
Thinking
about work.
Yeah, because your work is so stressful.
My work is so stressful. No. I got my first bad review.
Oh, no.
On Monday. No, on Tuesday. No. On Wednesday. I like promptly at 1 p.m., right? We open up and this family comes in. It's like a man, a wife, and a daughter. And we have a sign on the door that still says you have to wear masks to come in.
Oh, no.
And it's because I live with people that are at risk. And the owner lives with people that are at risk, right? And so like that is why the sign is there. And so like the family comes in, the dad and the daughter both put theirs on, no problem. The woman comes in and she's like, she reads the sign, she walks in, she looks at me, she goes, "Do we have to wear face masks in here?" And I was like, "I'd prefer if you do, but like I wasn't gonna push it." So I didn't. So she didn't wear it, and I was like, whatever, that was fine. I was like, I'm vaccinated, I'm not too worried. So we keep going. And I ask them, like, "Are you looking for anything in particular? Like, can I help you?" You know, the same things I always ask for every single customer that walks in. And the guy, he's the one that's looking at games. He doesn't respond, but the wife is like, "Yeah, just whatever he's looking for, like whatever," just kind of dismisses it. I was like, okay, whatever. So I'm like waiting. He's looking around. The guy asks me a question about like if we have any Dreamcasts, which we don't. And then, so I'm like, "No, but like all our consoles are over there." And then he looks around a little while longer. And then he's like, "I'm looking for a PS1 game." And I'm like, "Our PS1 games are over there. They're sorted alphabetically." He walks over and he looks. And then they don't end up buying anything. And then they leave. And as they're leaving, the wife mumbles something about masks again. I didn't hear her. So I text CJ.
Karen.
I text CJ and I'm like, "This really weird lady just came in here." Whoa. Sushi's moving around our notes.
What's her name, Karen? Did she have a...
Well,
this hair?
No. She had like her hair was like blue or something. Like she had like dyed hair. She seemed cool. Okay, so here's the thing. She leaves and she was just really rude the whole time. And there was like some other things she said too, like while she was in there, and every time she would talk, like her daughter looked uncomfortable. You know, like you can like read the family dynamic, like it's all strange. And so she leaves and I text CJ, I'm like, "This weird woman just came through." And like seconds after, I get a text from my boss that's like, "Did you just have a bad interaction with a customer?" And I was like, "I don't think so. Why?" And he sends me this review that she posts on Facebook. And it says like, she said, here, I'll pull it up. Hang on. I have it. I have the screen. I have the receipts. So she posts a review on Facebook. She's like, "Doesn't recommend my place of work. Sushi's trying to bite me." 1 second. So she says, her name is Brittany. Sorry, Brittany. And she says, "We went to the store to look for a game after going to the booth at the flea market." So we have a flea market booth in Mount Dora. The girl in the store was super rude. Couldn't be bothered to look up from her phone. I was watching them the whole time. Wasn't even on my phone. Anyway, when we asked her for help finding a game, she seemed like we were putting her out and pointed us in the direction of those games. What? What?
She wanted you to go find it for her is what she wanted.
Yeah. Then she's like, couldn't even be bothered to ask what game we were looking for to help. Which, most of the time, if I know it might be hard to find something, I do just ask. I didn't happen to ask them because we have like 20 PS1 games and they're sorted alphabetically. Like, it's not hard to find.
Right.
And the guy didn't act like it was a problem, you know? So, like, I don't even know. So she says that, and then she's like, "Probably won't be back," which sucks because we're retro game fanatics with all the old systems looking to up the games we have. I hope she doesn't come back.
No, she was pissed about the mask thing, and then she was just like...
Yeah, that's what my boss said. Yeah. My boss read it, like, and I called him, like, you know, after he texted me, and he was like, "Yeah, I read it. Like, it didn't sound like you." I was like, "This is a weird review. Like, you're always so nice to people." And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, that sucks.
But that's my only bad customer, like, I've ever had. So
that sucks. You know, you get, like, you know how it is. We get reviews with the podcast where people are just like, everything's cool except for this thing, 2 stars. And it's like...
Okay.
Sorry. Or I can't believe they didn't mention their spoilers. And it's like, you're listening to a lore podcast. You don't expect spoilers? Like, do I have to say this every time we mention anything from any of the games? Like, this is some things should just be assumed, but yeah. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. Sorry you had that experience. You guys ready to start the show? You ready to go? I'm gonna hit the button. Here it comes. The show is brought to you by our generous patrons at patreon.com/FalloutLorecast.
For all
Mutants Radio presents
The Fallout Lorecast.
Welcome to the Fallout Lorecast, a place for the Fallout community to come together to explore the boundaries of our knowledge about the world of Fallout. Welcome, Vault Dwellers and Wastelanders. This is the Fallout Lorecast, and I am your host, Tom, or Robots, as usual, with my co-host here, Neos Pandora, who can't bother to look up from her phone because she's just too busy for that, and she doesn't treat customers well. That's what we were talking about.
No.
We're talking about a dumb review she got at work in the pre-show. But sometimes Karen's gonna Karen. You can't stop a Karen from Karen. She just Karens too much. So there you go. Lainey's just smiling and looking at me. So welcome back to the show. We're still continuing with our discussion about Fallout New Vegas and some of the things in Fallout New Vegas. And I thought, this week it'd be really fun to dive into the Nightkin, because we get a number of experiences with the Nightkin in Fallout New Vegas and in different locations as well. And this is going to be kind of more of an intro to the Nightkin episode, and we will continue a little bit more on the specifics of some of the quest lines and some of the specific characters. We're going to note some of the characters that you meet that are Nightkin, but go into a little bit more of that detail on a future episode, because I think there's some background to the Nightkin that maybe a lot of people who play New Vegas don't realize. As a lot of people know, the Fallout New Vegas was created by Obsidian, and Obsidian Studio was actually founded, and a lot of the people who worked on Fallout 1 and 2 were some of the same people who worked on Fallout New Vegas. So they pulled a lot of the lore and details from the first two games into Fallout New Vegas. It's also, all of those games are located closer to the West Coast and all of that. So there's some really cool details here. Lainey, how you doing? How other than work stuff, how you been?
Good.
Good.
I'm just thinking about where I have to go to work later.
Yeah.
So that's really all that's on my mind right now. But
yeah, you'll be fine. You'll get through it. And it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we dig into this, Lainey? How did the Nightkin start? What is the origin of the Nightkin? And what exactly are Nightkin? Like, what are we even talking about here? For anybody who doesn't mind spoilers, by the way, spoilers. We were joking about that in the pre-show too, because some people will listen to a lore podcast and they'll be like, "Oh, there were spoilers there." And it's like, well, yeah, of course. What else are we going to be talking about? So go into it. What are the Nightkin?
So they were created by the Master. They're considered to be his greatest super mutant creation because they are the strongest, and they have a couple other things going for them. So after the defeat of the Master's super mutant army in 2162, the Nightkin began to spread across the wasteland. And so some of them traveled in groups, so you can find, kind of camps of Nightkin, but some of them like to stay independent.
Now, Nightkin, to be specific, are a type of super mutant.
Right.
They're not just any sort of like weird other type of mutant, although, the FEV virus mutated a number of different things. These were the highest fulfillment of the super mutant project by the Master. And if you don't remember who the Master is, go back and listen to our Fallout 1 episode, because I go through that. He's kind of the main bad guy, the genius who melds with technology. He looks like a melted head on top of computers and stuff. The pictures of him are ridiculous and crazy looking, but he's the guy behind at least those super mutants on the West Coast. So
there's a cat biting my leg. I'm so sorry.
There's a cat biting your leg.
I'm like trying to keep a straight face, but she's like full on pouncing on me.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
jeez, okay.
Super mutants. So this is really a discussion of super mutants and what happens to the highest, most perfected super soldiers that the Master designs, and where they end up in New Vegas, which is very different from how they started, right?
Yeah, so most super mutants, they're relatively the same. They have a lot of muscle. They're rarely buff. Not a lot else going on. So these big, buff monsters, basically. They're made from humans, and they're turned into these, like, terrifying super mutants.
Yeah, what are some of the stats on them? Well, like, in general, super mutants are, like, how much do they weigh, and, like, how does that stuff work?
Yeah, so the average super mutant is roughly 10.5 feet tall. So over twice as tall as me, which is fun.
Two ladies stacked on top of each other in a trench
stacked
coat.
on top of each other
Yeah.
in a trench coat. They weigh around 770 pounds or 350 kilograms. And they have like 75% of their body mass is just muscle. Bone and tissue are 10% each, and then the fat mass is really low, accounting for between 3 to 5% of their body mass.
That's why you can see those sweet, sweet abs.
Those sweet, sweet abs, for
Yeah.
sure. This body mass ratio, the muscle to, everything else, is the reason why they walk in a hunched over way. Their muscles are like encumbering them, essentially.
Yeah, it's almost like
They're
pushing on their
bulky.
skeleton.
Yeah.
It makes them kind of hunched looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, their skin is thicker and resistant to trauma, cuts, bruises, damage from fire, acid, gunfire. And despite this, any tissues that are completely destroyed on them, and this includes like things like organs and stuff, they can regenerate very well, except for if it is completely destroyed. And so if you were to chop off their arm, they can't get the arm back. But if you're just to give them a cut, they'll probably heal up pretty fast. And then super mutants in general, I'm sure if you've played the Fallout games, you've seen a good number of them. They look pretty masculine, and this happens no matter what your sex is. When you turn into a super mutant, you turn into this beefy dude, essentially, is what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, all that muscle mass is basically all the muscles get bigger, which creates a more masculine shape, and they lose any of their sex organs. So there's no.
They become sterile, but their like genitalia is still there. But they, you can't use it.
I thought it wasn't there. This is something we'll have to dig into. I was pretty sure that the genitalia.
I was looking it up. It looks like
disappears.
the genitalia is still there, but everything that makes them function is not there.
Interesting, because
So you can still distinguish them between.
Yeah, because I feel like maybe it's different depending on type of super. Now you've got some questions because I'm thinking back to some details. Maybe the East Coast super mutants, they don't have any, because I know if you look at them in the vats and stuff, they're just like there's nothing there. But we'll have to dig into this because this is bringing up some interesting questions that I have about it. And sometimes this happens when we do these episodes, like. The information in my head and the information that I looked up for previous episodes and the information that we dig up for this, for example, this episode leads to questions that we didn't realize we had until all of a sudden we have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
So,
I read about it yesterday, but again, like you're right. It could just be.
I wonder if there's more specifics.
Where they're from.
Yeah. There might be more specifics. Maybe the West Coast super mutants, because they are different. They're different strains of super mutants. Mm-hmm. So maybe these ones do keep those. Interesting.
Yeah. So those are the things that kind of make up any super mutant. Nightkin are a little different. Oh no, there's a couple more things that are kind of across the board, but these ones they are affected by some habits the Nightkin have. So in general, super mutants have better reflexes, heightened senses, and because of the transition into this super beefy, strong fighting machine, essentially. Mm-hmm. You also lose your intelligence and memories. And so super mutants are known to develop mental illnesses because of these things like dementia or Alzheimer's, which is to be expected. You meet super mutants in the wasteland and they don't always seem like they really know what they're doing. And so it's pretty consistent. Once you're a super mutant, you don't age. So the processes that your body goes through with aging stop. And so while you can regenerate things and then not regenerate other things, depending on how much tissue is damaged, you do not age. And so while they're not invincible, their life expectancy is much longer due to the body not deteriorating to age. They're also immune to radiation and minor illnesses like the common cold. And this made me wonder while I was writing the notes if something like COVID would wipe out the super mutants. Because it's not the common cold, it's not a common illness. If you were to introduce something that they've never had before.
Well, they seem to have like a heightened immune response. So I would
Right.
I would like
So things like the cold or like maybe even the flu, probably they don't get.
Well, typically, COVID was much more deadly towards people with like reduced immune responses due to age or physical difficulties. Like being older, not having the same immune response as like children. Whereas, children who die from COVID, the numbers are significantly less. Maybe because they have a stronger immune response to it, are able to fight it off better because they're younger. I don't know. So in that case, I mean, it is a virus. So theoretically, they would have a strong response against it, unless it specifically targeted their cells in a way that, regular viruses or any other virus doesn't normally target. Like if it was really specifically a super mutant strain, then maybe, just like, for example, like our dogs can't get COVID, or at least they can't get the same COVID that we get. There are COVID viruses that dogs get. In fact, I know this because I was just at the vet with our dogs because they were having poopy problems recently. They're fine now. But one of the things the vet thought was that maybe they were passing around a virus between the two of them. And he was like, there's actually lots of COVID viruses that, are similar to the ones we get, but different, that dogs can get. So maybe the human strain wouldn't have been so strong, but something very specifically targeted to super mutants could be difficult for them. I don't know.
Super COVID.
No. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah.
So those are all the things that define super mutants in general. Nightkin are a little special. They have some interesting things going on. And like I mentioned before, they are the Master's greatest super mutant creation. So they've got to be pretty interesting, right? And they are. So out of all the super mutants, they are the strongest when it comes to general strength, reflexes, the heightened senses, everything that we already talked about super mutants have. But unlike other super mutants, they don't lose their intelligence during the transformation. And so they are as smart as they were, if not smarter, than when they were human. And they have all the added benefits of becoming a super mutant, which is interesting.
Yeah, so they're like this almost perfected version of the almost perfected version. So like that's one of the difficulties. Like the army was trying, this whole project was started by the military trying to make super soldiers. Basically they're all trying to make Steve Rogers, right? And they didn't really turn out so good. They got more Hulk and less Captain America, except when it came to the Nightkin, which were like Professor Hulk, I guess you could say. Yeah, we can't all be Captain America turning cog in chat. So
we can't all be Captain America.
So what else sets them apart?
So while they retain their intelligence and they get these other skills, they also become at higher risk for mental illnesses. So like I mentioned before, super mutants in general have memory loss issues, and that can turn into things like dementia and Alzheimer's. But Nightkin have problems particularly with schizophrenia, delusions, and dissociative disorders. And they're known to have things like dissociative identity disorder, where you have multiple personalities, essentially. But also just in general, I would imagine coming out the other end of the transformation into a super mutant while retaining your intelligence probably would cause you to dissociate.
Yeah, that seems very traumatic, especially if you didn't sign up for it. We do know that a lot of these soldiers were people who were just thrown into the program without their own knowledge, or they weren't choosing to be part of this program. And in fact, many of them were captured Chinese soldiers during the Great War. So to all of a sudden wake up and be like, what is going on? Who am I? What is this? Everything seems like it's some sort of horrible sci-fi nightmare. Like, how do you deal with that? Like, what would you do? I don't know. I don't know how I would manage that. I think there's probably a lot of comics that have storylines about things like this, like people dealing with their superpowers and, supervillains who come out of this stuff on the wrong end when it comes to psychologically dealing with it. And that's why they're so terrible.
in addition to their mental illnesses in terms of schizophrenia and all that, they also have an issue with addiction to stealth boys. And so they are constantly using stealth boys. And originally, this was part of their training. So they were intended to use these. And they didn't actually change in skin color until after using them for a long time. So originally, they looked like super mutants. They had this like pale kind of green skin color. Mm-hmm. And after using stealth boys for years and years and years, nearly nonstop, they have turned into this like grayish blue color, which definitely adds to their like creepy, sneaky aesthetic for sure. But it's just a side effect of this addiction they have developed. So
yeah, something in the stealth boys like affected the pigment of their skin, which is interesting because that makes you also wonder, like, would that happen to humans? Like, were the stealth boys a not perfected technology? Like, would people start turning like bluish? You know, we all turn into
use
Smurfs.
Them all the time.
Right. And in the Master's headquarters, they were stockpiled with all sorts of weapons and technology. So the Nightkin, being more intelligent than the other super mutants, were given the best of that equipment in order to use for the Master. You actually run into Nightkin in Fallout 1, but that also led to their dependence on the stealth boys. I also have to wonder if this is part of the disassociation of their personality thing. This idea of being invisible all the time maybe helped them deal with the fact that they were physically look different. And so if they just couldn't see themselves, maybe that was more comfortable or something like that.
Yeah, and they don't want other people to perceive them either.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. So while the Nightkin, when they were first made, were these really like overconfident, arrogant creatures, which is perpetuated by their preferential treatment from the Master, their time out in the wasteland, the development of their mental illnesses, and their dependence on stealth boys has made them never want to be seen, right? So that directly ties into what you were just talking about. And the continuation of these things just makes it worse. Like, it's not like this is a hurdle they've gotten over. They all continue to do this. Right.
And we're going to discuss a little bit more of this side of things in the second half of the episode, but different super mutants have different reactions and different mental issues based on the things that they've gone through and this addiction to stealth boys. And it shows itself in different ways among even different groups of the Nightkin in New Vegas, which is, it's so cool that they took something like this and really worked it out a few different ways in the game. This is one of the things that I'm always floored by in the writing and the characters of New Vegas is how much diversity and interesting connections there are between all of this stuff with the limited amount of time they had to make the game, especially to write it and then move it into actual production. This game was processed very, very quickly. And yet there are all of these really interesting connections, almost like they already had a lot of this stuff ready to go. But it's not the same as some of the stuff in Van Buren, which we know would have been Fallout 3 had the original studio continued making Fallout games. So yeah, it'd be interesting to find out more about the actual development of the writing for New Vegas, because there is so much here.
Well, I think Nightkin are really interesting because, like I mentioned, they're super physically fit and they can regenerate, and they're also invisible.
Yeah.
And I feel like this combination, like, truly the Nightkin could just live forever as long as their brains don't deteriorate, you know?
I mean, they could have been that like improved version of humanity in a way.
Yeah.
Except
that. And well, they kind of have still their own free will, I guess, because they are able to think. And that's interesting too, because that just adds to it, right? They're like, as long as you don't kill them, they're basically immortal and they're invisible and they can think for themselves. Like, it's a little scary.
Oh yeah. That's like super predator, right? Like, yeah, that's some scary stuff. Well, tell you what, we're going to take a break. We'll go to the middle of the show and then we'll be back with some more specific details about the Nightkin in New Vegas. It's time for that spring reset. I'm taking a look at everything in my closet and figuring out that, oh no, this absolutely needs to go. And it's about time I replace things so that my clothes aren't older than my 15-year-old. Now you might think that they lasted that long because they were well made, but no, they're in terrible condition. Unlike the new jeans I just got from Quince. Jeans have always been my personal go-to because you can kind of wear them for lots of different things, but maybe they're not your thing. Maybe you're looking for, 100% European linen with insanely soft flow knit activewear fabric. It's definitely getting warmer, and their flow knit activewear is moisture wicking, anti-odor, and soft enough that you'll actually want to wear it every day. So pick out what you want. You can't go wrong because they have prices 50 to 60% less than similar brands. And like I said before, they are high quality. I continue to wear their clothes all the time, and I know that these new jeans are going to last me a lot better than the other things in my wardrobe. And on top of it, they look great. They're so comfortable, and I spent just as much on the jeans that I am now cleaning out of my wardrobe. So if you're looking for something better, just all around better, go check out Quince. So go do it right now. Refresh your wardrobe with Quince. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. Go to quince.com/falloutlore for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/falloutlore.
Hello there, old chap. Good to see another of General Atomic's finest, still eager to serve.
So there's a few things I want to talk about in the middle of this episode because we've got an exciting announcement. And for any of you guys currently watching right now live, make sure you tune back in later and this weekend, because the Robots Radio hosts and myself will be live streaming and restreaming the events from E3 and reacting and commentating on some of the big announcements and things like that. So we'll be doing that all weekend during a lot of the major events. So make sure you come back to twitch.tv/robotsradio to check out and chime in. I want to hear what some of you guys think too, especially if you're our regulars and, I know your names and maybe your faces. Come on in, drop your info in the channel. Let us know what you think about these announcements, and let's all enjoy them together because that's going to be a lot of fun. The second thing I wanted to note is that we have a brand new show called the Xbox Game Pass Show. It's my buddy Sam and Seven Legend from the Mass Effect Lorecast. He and I do that show, and we launched it on Monday, and it very, very soon will be up on all the different platforms you can get your podcasts from. So look for that Xbox Game Pass Show, with Bethesda connecting to Microsoft and Microsoft purchasing Bethesda and moving a bunch of their games onto Game Pass, and all the other connections going on with all that stuff, and the big announcements coming. The Game Pass is just an awesome platform, and I know a lot of you guys already have it. A lot of you are playing games on your PC and on your console and even your phone. I streamed some games on my phone. I was playing Red Dead Online on my phone from the cloud. That is ridiculous. It absolutely works. It connects with a Bluetooth. It's like having a Switch on you that can play games at better resolutions than the Switch. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we're super excited about the stuff going on with Microsoft, so we decided to do a show about all those games and things. And even if you don't have Game Pass, we'll be talking about a lot of the games that come out on Game Pass, which will be games that you could purchase in other places too. So check that out, Xbox Game Pass Show. Look that up. And in similar news, when I set up the show, I also applied to become an affiliate with Microsoft, and this is super exciting. They accepted us. So we are now an official, you'll see it up on the overlay over there. We are officially a Microsoft and Xbox affiliate, which means when you click the link underneath the show, whether on the stream, down in the buttons underneath, if you're watching the video, it'll be down in the notes on the underneath the video, and the show notes on the actual audio podcast. And you can click it and go to bit.ly/RR Game Pass, and you can use that link. And if you purchase Game Pass through them, which right now you can get 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for $1, it's a ridiculous deal. Then we get a little bit of a kickback. So whether you're picking up a new copy, resubscribing, renewing your subscription, anything like that, if you use our link, it's no extra cost to you, and we get a kickback. Also, if you happen to buy anything else from the Microsoft Store or any Microsoft products at all, we could potentially get kickbacks from those as well. So super exciting stuff. It's a wonderful way that you can help support the Robots Radio Network and our shows. So just, again, bit.ly/Robots Radio. You may have heard an ad during the show. I've got little digital ads inserted, but I just wanted to mention that live on the show today, so you guys heard about it. Also, thank you very, very much to our patrons. You guys are phenomenal. We have 46 patrons currently, and thank you especially to Pie Man, our Liberty Pie, who is our top tier Liberty Prime tier 6 supporter, and he gets a thank you every month. Anybody tier 5 or up gets a thank you on the show every single episode. And thank you to all of our patron subscribers in general, because you guys are what helps us to do this show. We've got, let's see, just a few weeks. It's the 11th right now when we do this. So probably 2 more weeks till our next patron episode. That would be, usually we do it on Saturday nights, Saturday the 26th. So that's coming up. If you'd like to join us, tier 4 patrons can join us. There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of you, plus Liberty Pie would be 9, but there's always more room. You guys are always welcome to join us. And even if you sign up at a tier 1 level, you get ad-free episodes a day early. So go check it out, patreon.com/FalloutLorecast. And thank you to everybody who helps support the show. All right, let's get back to more info about the Nightkin.
If you have any questions about Nuka World, I'd be delighted to answer them.
All right, Lainey, we're back. And when we're talking about New Vegas, so what's going on with the Nightkin in New Vegas? It's been a number of years. It's been 200 years since the bombs dropped. It's been a good 100 plus years since the events of Fallout 1. And the Master, I believe it's been over 100 years. I have to look at the dates again. I start forgetting these over time. But it's been a significant amount of time. What are the Nightkin doing in New Vegas? They're totally fine, right? At this point, there's no issues at all. I mean, we talked about maybe some issues they could develop, but they're not really suffering from any of those, right?
You know, other than like severe psychological damage, they're fine.
They're fine.
So the Nightkin in New Vegas wear the same clothes as regular super mutants in the game, but many of them also wear things like hoods or stop signs that they can use as shields. You know, they add extra things on to buff themselves up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. And they're genuinely fine, right? Like they don't have any psychological issues.
Oh no, they totally have severe psychological damage because of the stealth boys. Right.
I thought maybe we should make that clear. Sometimes when I'm sarcastic about things, people don't get it. So I just wanted to be absolutely clear that people understand that they are majorly psychologically damaged at this point.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because you have to imagine how many years are between the first Fallout game and this one. The whole time that they've been existing, they've been on stealth boys basically. And
no, they don't have psychologists. There are no super mutant psychologists in the wasteland. No. They don't have psychoactive drugs to help them deal with any of these issues. Yeah, they are totally messed up by New Vegas.
They are. So they look, other than their skin color, relatively similar to the other super mutants in the game. In terms of weaponry, they often carry clubs, miniguns, incinerators, super sledges, or Nightkin Masters will carry bumper swords.
Bumper swords.
So while originally the strongest of the super mutants in New Vegas are weaker than even just the normal super mutants because of their stealth boy use.
Yeah, so they went from being like the toughest to the weakest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Addiction, baby.
Addiction, baby.
Oh, no.
Never once.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the different groups that are in the game in terms of Nightkin, because they do have like their own groups, their own places that they exist, and then also some of the individuals and what they're up to. And then in the future, we're going to dive into them a little bit more specifically. You know, I'm really just going to touch on what all is going on in the Mojave as a whole. Okay.
Right.
So the first one I want to talk about is the state of Utopia. And
I love the name of this.
Yeah, so it's a mix of Utopia and Tabitha, the leader's names.
Right.
And this place is supposed to be like a utopia for super mutants. They're supposed to be able to get there and live wonderful lives. And so the Nightkin that live there have a very isolationist ideology. They tell humans to stay away from certain areas, and they even comment on the dangers of the dreaded battle cattle and the two-headed bear people, which these are references to the flags of Caesar's Legion and the NCR.
Mm-hmm.
And so they are, they're referencing the flags here, but they're trying to warn people. They're like, oh, dangerous. These humans with these animal mascots are real dangerous. And so, yeah, they try to stay out of it for the most part. And so, like I said, this is a utopian society for super mutants. They're supposed to live there, not get harmed by the dreaded battle cattle and live their best lives. And they're run by this woman, Tabitha, who is one of the noteworthy Nightkin that I was going to mention later, but she's just so relevant here. She is delusional, and she's the leader of this group. And part of what she says to the group is that there are enemies that they're facing that they need her for, because she's the only one who can see or hear them. She's crazy.
yeah. The whole, like, this is no longer dissociative personality disorder. This is like actual hearing voices and
yeah,
seeing
she's
things.
just delusional. Yeah. And like a psychotic break, I guess, is like what she's going through.
Right.
So that's fun. That's Tabitha. That's Utobitha.
I love that combination of words. Like Utobitha. It's almost Utabitha, but it's Utobitha. Yeah.
It's funny. All right. So the next one I want to talk about is the Chupacabra Nightkin.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a Nightkin that likes to live kind of on the outskirts of Novak. I think he hides behind a boulder. Yes, he hides behind a boulder. And every night at midnight, he kills one of Dusty McBride's Brahmin.
Right.
Every night, he kills a Brahmin. And so you can go talk to him, and he's hiding. He's using a stealth boy. He's behind a boulder that's just across the road from town, basically. And you can talk to him, and he's complaining about insomnia and also hearing Brahmin like taunting him in his head.
Being taunted by cows.
Which is why
cow taunting.
Right. Cow taunting. This is why he goes and kills Brahmin every night, because he really believes that he is being spoken to by these Brahmin. Which is fun for him.
Yeah.
Oh no. And then
oh no.
We have the Antlerists, and these are Nightkin that take orders from their god Antler, who Antler is this inanimate Brahmin skull that is in the basement of the RevCon test site. And this group of Nightkin is kind of interesting. They have a little bit of a reputation. The Wastelanders in the Bright Brotherhood refer to the Nightkin living there as demons.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I mean, just thinking about it, you have these super beefy, invisible, sentient beings.
Yeah.
That feels like demons.
Yeah, demons are ghosts. Like they're invisible. Like they probably hear voices. They probably, like they also sound really gruff and, like kind of scary. Yeah. It makes sense. I like the idea that like somebody who doesn't know what's going on and can't see them, but sees the things they're doing would think that it's some sort of like demonic possession happening or something like that.
Something is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then at Brooks Tumbleweed Ranch, a Nightkin will appear next to the courier, and you can have a little chat. And if you talk to him, he wants to sell you Wind Brahmin. Does anybody know what this is?
Wind Brahmin. They
are tumbleweeds.
Because they're
Wind
like
Brahmin.
cows that move on the wind.
Yes. So you can meet this Nightkin, and he will offer to sell you. Well, offer is an interesting word, because he wants to sell you these Wind Brahmin for all of your money. He wants it now, and if you don't give it to him, he gets upset. So this part of the game is actually interesting because it has been changed over time. Originally, if you accept it without even asking him how much he's trying to sell it for, he won't even take your money. He'll just give you a stealth boy. He's like, "Thanks for trusting me. Here you go."
Which seems
drugs.
So out of character. Like, why would he do that?
Yeah, it's interesting. So they changed that in July of 2011. They had a patch that changed it so the Nightkin will no longer give a stealth boy away, and instead will just take all your caps. And if you do say you don't want it, he just becomes evil. Like he will just try to attack you.
Right. He just aggroes. Yeah, that seems way more on brand.
Yeah. So I think it's a good change. But can you imagine having played the game originally and then like a couple years down the line playing it again and being like, oh, free stealth boy, and then you just lose all your caps instead? You're
like, wait a minute, why didn't this work this time?
Yeah. Get pranked.
Yeah, right.
So this last little bit, I'm going to talk about some other noteworthy Nightkin. We have Keen. Keen is the leader of the Jacobstown Nightkin, and he's really set on looking for a cure for their condition, for being a super mutant, for everything they're dealing with. They want to revert back to their original selves, which just even thinking about this, like, okay, if it could happen, that'd be amazing. But at this point, the body has gone through so much for so long. Mm-hmm. Like, what is left if you transfer back into a human body somehow? What is... will you survive? Can you survive the transformation back into a human body?
I suppose you would have a lot of extra skin.
Yeah.
You'd be like really baggy. Like your skin would be like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And blue?
Yeah. Well,
yeah, it'd be a little strange.
It seems like there's a lot to cure. I mean, it's not just reversing the transformation back to a regular human.
Right.
It's dealing with whatever psychological damage they have. It's like there's the physical changes, but then there's the psychological changes. Plus all the trauma that they've gone through, like it seems like a really difficult goal. I don't know. Like, where do you even start?
I wonder if they would change back and still use stealth boys or not. Because I feel like part of me is like, okay, if they change back into a body that they're more comfortable with, and whatever sense of self, if their sense of self aligns with what they're seeing again, then maybe they don't need to hide. But because they've been using them for over 100 years, do you think that they would actually stop? Because it's not like they're...
addictions are difficult.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and this is something I was going to bring up at the end, but let's just discuss it here. Stealth boys don't last very long. If you're going to constantly be using a stealth boy, like, there must be a way to replenish one, like recharge it and reuse it again. Or you must have some sort of ridiculously large amount of supply. Like a stealth boy lasts like a minute or something in game. I mean, you'd have to have 60 stealth boys per hour at a minute, a stealth boy. That's, I mean, how do you even keep a stock? How do you even carry a stock of stealth boy? Like a stealth boy is, the size of a stealth boy is like fairly large in game. It's like a book, like, I don't know how you would keep using and constantly be under the power of a stealth boy unless you had like super powered stealth boy. I mean, there's like advanced ones that last twice as long, but it's still like, I don't know how you make that. I get the narrative sense of it. I get the idea why you would write this into the game, because it makes for good fiction, but I don't quite understand how you implement this in a way that's realistic. Not to mention, stealth boys aren't necessarily even being produced anymore, because this is post-war by several hundred years. Like, where do you find a cache that's able to maintain invisibility? Like, you're not going to find thousands of these things. And even if you found 10,000, 60 times 24 hours a day, that would eat up 10,000 for one super mutant in just a very short period of time.
How long does stealth boys last for?
I believe it's a minute. I think it might be different for each game though. So stealth boy, New Vegas. Let's look it up. I'm sure it says it somewhere in the wiki. But wait one. It's 2 minutes. I would imagine 2 minutes.
Just
yeah.
2 minutes.
Plus 100 sneak for 2 minutes. Yeah. In 76, I believe it's like 30 seconds or a minute. So 2 minutes, like that's it. Each stealth boy only works for 2 minutes. I wonder if there's like an exception.
So like for the player, it lasts that long, but like in general in the world, maybe it's like stealth boys actually do something else. I don't know.
But you would also assume that for a larger body to maintain stealth would take more power.
You would need more. Yeah.
So it would last less time. I don't know. This is just, obviously this is a narrative inconsistency that they haven't bothered to deal with, but it's still odd to me.
Well, and it feeds back into like the addiction loop. This, if you need to have it that frequently, you get addicted so fast. Mm-hmm. You're just using it constantly. Right.
And Envy Courier says, isn't there a vault the Nightkin are searching for? Yeah, supposedly there's a vault somewhere of these things. But even like I was saying, even if it had 100,000 of these stealth boys, that's not going to last long. It's definitely not going to last 100 years. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. I'm going to do some math real quick.
I wonder how many Nightkin there really are.
Times 365. All right, so that would for one Nightkin to stay hidden, permanently stealthed for an entire year would take 262,800 stealth boys at 2 minutes a pop.
So many,
right? Like that's what I'm saying. That's just one to stay stealth for a year. You multiply that by what was the distance between Fallout 1 and New Vegas was like
126 years.
126, yeah. Multiply that by 126. 126 equals, holy crap, 33,112,800. That's a lot of stealth boys. Like, I don't know that they produced that many during the war, but I get the idea of it, like, and
sometimes you just have to suspend our disbelief,
Sure.
You're like, okay.
Absolutely. And maybe they're rechargeable or something. Who knows? But yeah.
Came for the lore, stayed for the math.
Stayed for the math.
That's funny.
That's a lot of stealth boys, guys.
So that's Keen. Keen is the one leading the Nightkin that are looking for a cure. And then there's Lily Bowen, who I'm sure some of you love. This is a companion option in the game. She's a former assassin, but she's currently working as a herder. She's like a farmer in the mountain refuge, and she's pretty cool. I mean, she is a Nightkin, so she looks like a Nightkin, but she dresses in like this fun little straw outfit with a little hat.
Oh, I love her.
It's real cute. It's real fun. Yeah. So she's pretty fun. And I'm sure we can do an episode just on her if you haven't already.
I don't think I have. No, I haven't.
Yeah. So look forward to that in the future then. So I won't spoil any of that right now. I'll just keep it nice and tight. Dead Money add-on. In the Dead Money add-on, there's Dog/God, who is a Nightkin who has split personalities, has dissociative identity disorder, and his personalities, if you haven't gathered, are Dog and God. So Dog is like the default, the host, I guess, and then God is the other personality. And I don't even know where to go from it. That's just fun. We could do a whole one on him too.
Yeah, you know what? We should continue. I think there's at least another, if not 2 or 3 other episodes we could do about specific Nightkin, the quest lines, the things they're trying to accomplish, the way that you interact with them, and then the results of that. Like, we could definitely break this up into multiple other episodes. We don't need to try and cram it into this one because we've already been going for a while. But yeah, the Nightkin are fun. I think that one of the reasons why I like them so much is, well, I guess there's a few different reasons. I remember coming across them the first time in the game and being very surprised. Like I think the first location I was at was the ones that worship the deer skull or whatever it's called. And the what are they called? The antler. That's what it is. The antlerists. They worship the antler. I think those were the first ones I ran into the first time I played. And at first you come across them and they're invisible and you're like, okay, invisible super mutants. And back in the day, that was not something that you were used to seeing. Like, had you played Fallout 3 and then we're now playing New Vegas, like, invisible super mutants, what? And then they're blue, which clearly made them stand out. And then you work through that area and you get to the point where you meet the skull that's supposedly telling them what to do. And at that point, it's just like, I remember it being very difficult at the time because I think I was a low level character, but then that part of it was so absolutely ridiculous at the same time. You can't go back and play these games again like you did for the first time. Like, you play through them a certain amount of times and you know what perks to go for, how to like min max your character. But the first time you play through one of these games, you don't know that stuff. So the world just feels so much more dangerous. And then you come across something like this and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know. It's a great experience.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, so we'll have to dig into more of these in a future episode. I don't know if maybe we'll do it next week, but we could. That might be a good idea. Continue Nightkin stuff. We'll dig into some of the quest lines for these specific locations and some of the more fun Nightkin that you come across in the game. That'd be really cool. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Lainey, do you have anything else going on? I know you're going to work later today. I hope you get better reviews.
Oh, thanks. It's for the people who didn't hear what happened, this has been my only bad review ever. And it truly was just someone who was like looking for something to complain about, because it's just one of those scenarios where like you do all the right things, like you make an exception for them. They don't even obey your shop rules. And then you give them all the help that they need. And then they leave and they're mad anyway. Right. So it's not a common thing, but it was my first like real negative instance there. Which is interesting. I mean, I've dealt with like, being a girl, a very short young girl, running a game store,
young girl,
running a game store by herself. It comes with its own obstacles.
Sure.
And I do get weird looks from like older men sometimes.
Do you even play games?
Yeah, people like start talking to me like I don't even know what the games are that they're like trying to buy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I've played this one before. They're like, whatever. I'm like, okay. I know what this is. Right.
Yeah, that's cute.
But most of the time it's fine. Most of the time people come in and like, if we start talking about games, like it's awesome. And it's like, really, it's just when it's one-sided with the assumption that I don't know what they're talking about, where the problem lies. Yeah. But most of the time, like we had people come in the other day. It was like 3 guys. I think one was one of their kids or something. And just we talked about like 500 different games while they were in there. I don't think they even bought anything, but they just like hung out with me for like an hour. And it was really fun, so I have good times too.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. You gonna do any streaming? People keep asking, when's Lainey gonna stream?
Oh, I know. Yes. Okay. So I talked about before, the indie game streams, those will begin, and possibly sooner than expected, because like you mentioned, we're trying to figure out if I can stream while I'm at work. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of downtime when I'm there, and I would have to pause when there are customers in the building. But that's really not an issue, if I could be doing it in the times that there is no one in there, which sometimes there are 2-hour gaps where no one walks in. And so this could be fun. Mm-hmm. So We'll see. I'll just have to let you guys know, really.
Okay. Yeah. Keep us, informed. I was like, what's the word to say here? I don't remember. Yeah, I meant to be streaming more this week, and then I came down with a migraine, and that completely put a wrench in my plans. Monday, I got up and I was like, feeling good. And I was like, I'll walk on my treadmill. I'll edit some podcasts. I did that live. Some of you guys jumped into the stream and hung out with me. I played some games. One of the things with the Xbox Game Pass show I want to do is start streaming more of the Game Pass games, especially the new ones that are coming out on stream. There's a new Dungeons and Dragons one, Dark something, I don't remember, coming out on the 22nd, but that'll be on Game Pass, and we can play multiplayer. We up to 4 people can run around together. So I'll be doing that, playing with some of you guys on stream, and that's going to be super fun. So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on. I just, I need to not have migraines in order. Dark Alliance, that's what it was. Thank you, Overland. So look for my streams. I'm planning to be streaming more during the day, playing games and hanging out with you guys. That's the plan. If my brain cooperates, then great. If it doesn't, there's not too much I can do. I don't think you're going to want to play games with me.
That's the most relatable thing I've ever heard. Yeah. If my brain cooperates, you'll get a stream.
If my brain cooperates, you'll get a stream. If it decides to try to kill me, then I don't know that I want to be streaming while that happens. Probably because I just need to keep my eyes closed for a while. But yeah, I'll be doing that stuff. And stay tuned for the rest of this weekend. I'll be back at 3 p.m. We will be talking about some of the announcements and showing them live and responding to those. And we'll be doing that all weekend. So come back for that. And I will see you guys around. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. All right. Until next time, try not to turn into a Nightkin. Don't use those stealth boys constantly because one, I don't know where you're going to get 200,000 of those, and two,
that's not a very sustainable addiction.
It's not a very sustainable
addiction.
addiction.
Blue.
It'll turn you blue.
I mean, if you want to join like the Blue Man Group, then
like the hulking Blue Man Group, like the Blue Man Group that is like gigantic dudes instead of just regular sized dudes. Yeah. Well, good luck with that, everyone. All right. We'll see you guys later. To plug into everything else we're doing, check out robotsradio.net. Also, look up the Robots Radio YouTube for videos about Fallout and other things. And check us out on Twitter, twitter.com/robotsradio.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
It's cozy season, and nothing compares to wrapping yourself in a Minky Couture blanket. Luxuriously soft, perfectly warm, thoughtfully made. From movie nights to chilly mornings, Minky Couture turns everyday moments into pure comfort. Once you feel it, you'll understand why it's called the original best blanket ever. Visit minkycouture.com or a store near you and make this cozy season your softest one yet.